Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be for Aquarius. This is Chris Anthony coming at you live once again. And Aquarius, this is your reading for November 15th into November 30th. We're going to end off the month of November in this reading for you. A couple of things. This is a general reading for everybody. So if it does resonate with you, can you do me a favor? Like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever you want to do to let me know that you're watching the video. If it doesn't resonate with you, then you can catch one of my previous videos. I did a monthly reading for Aquarius a couple of weeks ago, so you guys can go back and check that out if this reading does not resonate with you, Aquarius. And let's get right into the energies. Definitely appreciate everybody that's been liking, everybody that's subscribed, everybody that's kind of like catching wind of my channel and showing me some love. If you like my style of reading, then keep the comments, likes, all that other good stuff coming. And I'm going to get right into the reading. So Aquarius, this is going to be your present energy coming into November 15th into November 30th. So, Aquarius, what's going on? Like, I was looking at the cards and I'm like, okay, the only thing that I can see is that there are definitely some changes happening around you, Aquarius. There are definitely some endings happening and new beginnings taking place. Why? Because you have like all of the major arcana cards surrounding you right now that have to do with endings and new beginnings. You have the Tower, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have the World. So all of these cards represents ending of cycles, you know, cycles being ended. This is a abrupt ending happening, the Tower moment, but it's also following the Wheel of Fortune and then the World. So, and then you even have the Two of Wands, which means kind of like embarking on a new path. But right here in the middle, we have the Emperor. And Aquarius, from what I'm seeing inside of these cards, it feels like to me that some of you guys are just being kind of stubborn. Like, you see all these things around you changing, like people running around with chickens like their head cut off. You know, the karmic wheels are shifting, the tables are turning, the World card, like cycle is kind of being ended, a new one. It's like all these things are changing around you, and then this person right in the middle is taking on the Emperor card. For some of you guys, I see this reading two ways. So this is the first half of you guys that I'm talking about. So for this person that I'm talking about, he's taking on the Emperor. He or she is taking on the Emperor energy. And this is kind of like a stubborn energy. This is kind of like the person that, you know, they hear all these rumors for weeks at their job that everybody is, you know, like, let's say, for instance, everybody around the company is kind of like saying, hey, the company is about to close down. The company is about to go bankrupt. You know, the owner did something with his shares, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like in some of those movies where everybody starts to whisper that, you know, things and secrets are getting leaked out. And all people are starting to kind of like scramble around. This is kind of like the picture that I'm seeing for some of you guys. So just kind of like bear with me. So everybody is like running around, scrambling, and they're kind of like, dang, what am I about to do? Dang, let's start looking for new jobs. Let's see who we could talk to about saving our job. Like, let's get more information. Maybe it's going to be a severance package. It's like all these things are happening. You know, all these people are coming up to you and they're like, hey, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to get ready to go to the next job? Are you going to go speak to your supervisor and get some more information on the deal? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about your family? What are you going to blah, blah, blah? You know what I'm saying? And so everybody is kind of like making these moves in this company that's like about to shut down. But you, Aquarius, you're just kind of like, nah, I don't want to hear that. Like, you know, I don't think anything is changing. It's not about to change. Like, everything's going to be exactly how it's been. Like, I'm right here. I'm chilling in my energy. You know, even though you see things happening, it's kind of like you're not wanting to hear it. Like, for some reason, that's what I'm feeling for some of you guys. Aquarius, like, it's a kind of like stubborn energy. And I think this has to do with for the first half of you guys anyway, this has to do with some things just ending, like a shift, a karmic cycle kind of ending and a new one coming into place. You having to embark on a new path. You have to throw away some of those things, those peoples, those surroundings that you were in. You kind of having to grow out of it. The universe is kind of like kicking you out of there. Like, yeah, that's done. This is going to be shifted. And then you're going to see a whole new world. Like, that's kind of like what the universe is kind of forcing you to do, forcing you to go down this path that you're looking at and you're holding on to, and you see it and you've made the decision, but you're just not going yet. For some of you guys, the tower moment is coming to kind of like shake things up so that you can begin to shift, and everything is shift in your life, and you can take on this world energy and come out as the new you, coming out of the cocoon. This world card could represent that, coming out of that cycle where you were, you know, kind of under wraps a little bit, planning on some things, or you were just viewed as a different person to the world, you know. And I think that's what this transformation is about for some of you guys. But some of you guys are being so stubborn that it's like the universe is like, okay, you're going to keep being stubborn? Then, okay, I got to shake it up. We got to shake things up for you. We got to start turning this karmic wheel and bringing about that new cycle, you know. And this is about to be how you're going to be looking when it's done. Like, you're going to go from feeling like the emperor, you know. The emperor has an ego. And some of you guys have a big ego. And people with big egos, they don't like to have any type of shakeups. They don't like things moving like this. Like, if you go with that example that I'm going with about that company, like, this will be somebody that is kind of like in the company, that they've been in the company for a long time. They have status in the company. Like, they always had a certain amount of control and influence over other people, you know. And when these things start to shake up around them, when everybody is kind of like running around and like, hey, what are you gonna do? Like, did you hear the news? Blah blah blah. This is kind of like you being in denial and being like, we're not going anywhere. The company is not shutting down. What are you talking about? Like, get back to work. This is kind of like that energy that you're taking on. Like, nobody is closing down anything. There will be no severance packages. Like, you know, it's going to be cool. It's been whispers about this before in the past. Everything is cool. But that's coming from a place of you not letting yourself kind of like get into, you know, feeling like the fear that the other people are feeling around you. And this is just an archetype that I'm giving you guys. I'm not saying that this is specifically happening for you. For some of you guys, it could be, and sorry about that if you're dealing with, you know, your company closing. But I'm using that as an example, you know. But this represents what I'm talking about is kind of like what's happening in some of you guys' life. Things could be changing all around you, and like the universe is kind of like giving you all type of hints and clues and whispers about a new cycle coming in, and the old one falling off and falling apart. And you kind of know that it's happening. You see it, but you're wanting to turn a blind eye for some reason. Like, I don't know why. But some of you guys are being stubborn, because with the emperor being right in the middle of everything that's happening around him, that's kind of like somebody that is stubborn to the changes that have to happen, that are inevitable. These are inevitable changes. The Tower card is here, and there is an ending happening. The Wheel of Fortune is bringing in a new beginning, shifting. The karmic cycle is shifting. So one thing is ending, another one is beginning, that revolving door. And then right below you have the World card, so a transformation happening because of those shifts. You coming out of that old cycle into the new one as a new person. All of that is wanting to happen around you. Some of you Aquariuses, you are looking down that path. You want to go down that path, but it's kind of like a certain level of stubbornness that you have, and I don't know why you're feeling stubborn. This could be, like I said, because you're kind of scared of something new. You have gotten used to this old cycle, but the old cycle is like you're outgrowing it. You have already outgrown it, so much so that, you know, stuff is falling apart. Like, when you outgrow, you know, your let's say something that you're using, I don't know, it could be anything. Like, let's just say clothes. When you outgrow clothes, they start to fall apart. Like, when you were a little kid, you know, and when you were still growing, and you grew from one year to the next, you couldn't wear the same pair of jeans, the same pair of shoes, or shirts, or you didn't even have the same type of style because you grew as a person. Like, all this stuff is happening. For some of you Aquariuses, I'm sorry about the second half that I was talking about, but I'm kind of having to stay on the people that are or have outgrown something, and you know it's dead. It's kind of like you're beating a dead horse for some Aquarius out there. Maybe not all you guys, but I'm kind of still stuck on this energy for some reason. So let me just keep talking to you guys. It's kind of like you're beating a dead horse, or you're trying to get what is that saying that they used to have like back in the day? It's an old saying, like trying to get blood out of a turnip or something like that. I don't know, but you're trying to do something that can't be done any longer. It's kind of like it's finished. It has ended. And all you need to do is kind of like realize that, but for some reason you're being stubborn about it, stubborn about the changes, but it's inevitable. I mean, I think you're going to continue to be stubborn for the people that I'm talking to that are kind of taking on that stubborn energy, but things are going to keep changing around you, and you're like, you know, I just don't want you to be that person in the company that is the last person to start preparing for the ending. Like I said, once again, this is not literal. I'm talking like, you know, in symbols. So I don't want you to be that person that kind of like realizes at the end, like, oh snap, it really is falling apart. Damn, the company is about to end. Dang, maybe I do need to start searching for a job, you know? I think it's actually a movie like that about somebody who didn't think they were going to get fired. Their company started laying off so many people. And they just thought they were good because they had that prideful, that ego energy. They were like the best at what they did, and they were kind of like, well, yeah, you guys may be about to lose your job, but I'm good. Like, I've been here. I put in the work. I already know what's up. There's nothing changing for me. You know, I'm good. But there are things that are changing. Aquarius, even if you just have to make some precautions, when it comes down to the things that are changing, I don't think this has to do with a job per se. I mean, I got that example just as an example, but I think this has to do with your life. Like, this is not just your job. This has to do with deep things, you know, like the way you see the world, your transformation, your ascension, your awakening. This is like a awakening process that's happening around you, Aquarius, and I'm kind of turned up about it. I'm like, dang. There are important changes that are happening around you, and I just want you to kind of don't be as stubborn to those things. Kind of like don't turn a blind eye to them, even though you're busy focusing on whatever you're focusing on right now. You're busy being an emperor and ruling and building and making sure everything runs smoothly and all those things. That's kind of like that person at that job. They're busy in their position, you know, of power, and they're busy with their job, but other people are kind of like trying to let them know, like, hey, you might not have any power in a second. You might not have any place to rule from because the kingdom is kind of falling apart. I don't know if you have noticed it, but things are changing. Like, cycles are ending. Something new is coming in. A new path is opening for you, but you have to not be so stubborn and take it. So that's for the guys that are being stubborn. Wow, I got that out. Aquarius, for the other half of you guys that I see on the other half of the reading, this could be a transformation that's kind of taking place where you have some cycles ending. It's the same thing. The same cycles are ending, but instead of you being stubborn, you could be taking on a more emperor energy, a more like strength energy. Let's say if you are a person that you don't have a major ego like the last people that I was talking about, then this could be you kind of taking on a more emperor energy, like where you're kind of like stepping up to the plate, like, hey, everything is changing. I see some things falling apart, some new things coming in, and this is the signs to me that I'm kind of stepping up into my power. So some of you guys are stepping up into a place of power. I think that this is for both of the two sides that I'm talking about. Both of you guys are stepping into a place of power. It's just that one person is, you know, denying it, turning a blind eye to it. One second. Gotta really talk to you guys. So one person is kind of like turning a blind eye to it, and then the other person is kind of like, stepping up into it and powering up with the changes that are happening around him, moving, or him or her moving around those shifts that are happening, and it's kind of like empowering you to go into this new direction, this new energy. If you're the other side of the Aquarius that I was talking about, but either way it goes, you guys have some karmic shifting and moving around and falling apart and ending and beginnings that's happening all around you. So just notice those things are happening. Like, because you can see him, the Emperor is looking over at some of the stuff that's happening, like, oh dang, there are some things happening, but he's continuing to have that same stance of being like, well, yeah, it's changing and this is happening, but it's not going to be the end of it. It's not, yeah, this is falling apart, this is ending, but cool, like, it's still going to be okay. Like, I'm still going to be in the place that I'm going to be. Like, nothing is really changing. It's like, so it's a level of denial that's happening, Aquarius, for some of you guys. Not to laugh, sorry about that, I'm not trying to laugh. It's just like, the level of stubbornness is kind of like at an all-time high right here with this Emperor, this energy that I'm kind of picking up, because there's so much happening to say that, yeah, there is a change that's happening, something is ending, but it's kind of like this Emperor is kind of like, no, my kingdom is not falling apart. Like, this job is not falling apart, this relationship is not falling apart, like, whatever it could be for you, and if it's not falling apart, it's just something that could be just changing or transforming. But stuff is happening around you, like in everyday life, internally, universally, spiritually, and something is kind of like beckoning you to go into a new direction. Because with the Two of Wands right here, that's what's happening. That's what's happening, Aquarius. Like, that's what I feel. But it is a ending that's happening for you, and maybe, this person doesn't want to face the end, because, nobody likes endings, and most people don't like change. So I could kind of understand, you guys taking on a stubborn energy, Aquarius, if this is what's happening with you. Because nobody really likes those type of major shakeups that come into our lives, or those major shifts that come, because everything does change and you become like a new person when everything around you changes. Like, you have no other choice. Like, if you were living, let's say in America, in Wisconsin right now, and then all of a sudden you had to move and go over to Germany tomorrow, a lot of things will change about you. Like, you could have one mindset before you moved, and then when you moved into that next place, you took on a whole different mindset, only because you were in a new environment, you were around different people, you were around different cultures. Everything about you would have to change. You would have to transform and be a different person. And that's why I think you're feeling that kind of stubbornness about it, because you have to make that transformation. It's coming. Because the Emperor is a smart person. Like, he knows exactly what's going on, he or she. But it's like you kind of don't want to step out there into the change, because you have to make a total, complete transformation into this person. From this person that's heavily guarded, guarding everything that he or she has, not letting anything new come in. This Emperor is set in his ways. He's stubborn. He likes the way the things has been going. But all these new changes that are coming into his kingdom is going to force him to be like this. Vulnerable, open, people can see him. He's not as guarded right here. This is the spirituality, though. This is the evolution of you. And I think if you can, not be as stubborn about the changes that are coming, and kind of like go with the changes, because the universe is here. Like, you have three major arcana surrounding your emperor energy. So I just think that there is a shift that's happening and that's occurring, and really, if you look at it, it's all happening in order. Like, some type of shakeup could have came in already that is kind of like forcing a new cycle to come in. Something old is going out, a new cycle is coming in. You're shifting into a more energy where you're taking on the world card. This is somebody that kind of has evolved, somebody that has something to showcase to the world. Magnetic, you get attention, but not just for anything. It's because of some type of sort of inner truth, spirituality, vulnerability that you have coming out now. And this is kind of like taking you on into your next phase, the next part of the journey, the next path that you kind of want to take. And so the Emperor can realize that energy and not be, so stubborn to stop that from happening. But even if you don't realize it, it's still going to happen, and it is inevitable. But I know, Aquarius, you're smarter than that, and you know what's going on. I'm sorry, Aquarius. I don't know why I'm talking to you guys like this. But I kind of just feel that energy for some reason. Like, this person is just sitting there, like, stubbornly not doing anything with all these other things happening around you. So I'm sorry if that doesn't resonate with you, Aquarius, and I'm definitely not trying to talk down to the Aquarius at all, because I like Aquarius. You're one of my favorite signs, and I'm not gonna lie. But that's just what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like it has to happen. And I mean, I don't think you're being stubborn in a bad way. It's just kind of like you're not ready to to go. Like, okay, I'm still on it, so I got to give you guys another example. Okay, this is the example, and then I'm gonna be done, and I'm going into my future energies. But so when I was living back in Atlanta, I had a house that me and my roommate were renting. We were in that house for like 3 years, and a lot of things happened in that house. We made like a lot of memories. We had a whole bunch of parties. A lot of it would be the hangout spot for the whole neighborhood. We knew everybody in the neighborhood. It was almost like a movie. The stuff that happened in that house, like, we were doing music in it. It was like a creative house where everybody who had anything creative to do could come to the house and they could kind of like chill out. That's what was happening. The only thing is that at the third year, we were coming up on the end of another lease. And then the landlord that we had was kind of like getting to a place where I don't think she wanted us in there anymore. Like, we were having a lot of disagreement with her about repairs in the house. About the bills that were happening in the house, because she didn't want to change the repairs, or repair the repairs. And so I kind of like felt that, okay, you know what? I think this could be our last year in this house. I think it's time to go, and I started to kind of like to tell my roommate that, and I was kind of like, because I think at this time, let's say it was December and we were about to have to move in January. So I was like, hey, we need to start looking for another apartment, because I don't think that she's going to let us renew the lease. She hasn't really been talking about it. We're having a whole bunch of problems with her already. I don't think we should renew the lease. Let's start looking for apartments. But my roommate was kind of like in a different place. Like, he was in a different zone where he just didn't really want to focus on that. It's kind of like he was working on some things. Like, he had a project that he was working on. He was trying to build this website, I think, for his music, like, where he was going to upload all his music there. And so he was kind of working on building this website. But I was kind of like, yeah, like, we could be out on the streets if we don't find a place to live. And all the signs were pointing that we could be out on the streets, because the landlord was kind of like getting tired of us. We were getting tired of her. We had to make the changes. So I started kind of like scrambling around, like I was giving you that, example and all the other things. Like, I started to run around like, hey, okay, I need to do this. I need to do, let's go. Let's get this going. Like, I started looking for apartments and stuff. And he kind of was still in that same place, like kind of like in disbelief that the end was here, because it was a place that we kind of liked to be in. But he didn't want to kind of like start moving on it. And I kind of had to keep reminding him like, hey, I'm going to go check out this apartment today. Do you want to see it? Like, Do you have any apartments that you have in mind, like that we can move to, or blah blah blah? And I kind of would keep reminding him, but he still was kind of like in that same place. And it wasn't a bad energy that he had. It's just kind of like he wasn't ready to face the fact that we had to go through all those things of moving, like applying to a new place, getting approved, packing up all our old things, taking it to a new place, unpacking it at the new, just all the stuff that you have to go to, putting in the money for the deposit, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't really ready to face all that or to process it mentally. That could be what's happening with some of you guys. You're not ready to process this major move that's happening, this major karmic cycle shift, ending, new beginning. And because of that, it's kind of like you're holding off even facing it. You're just like, you know what? I'm about to focus on what I've been focused on. I don't have time for this shit. And I'm just going to stay focused on what I'm doing. So that's what I'm feeling for some of you guys. But in the end, back to my story, my roommate kind of started to get on board. You know, he saw how I was kind of like scrambling around and running around, and he kind of didn't want to feel like, you know, I was the only one putting in the work to get into a new apartment. So he kind of like started to chime in, you know, and things like that. And so that's what I think the universe is kind of trying to do for you, is trying to like chime in like, hey, you have this coming in the future. You have these things that are kind of like coming towards you. You have to kind of start, you know, snapping out of it a little bit and getting to work. Like you got to start looking for the new path that you're about to connect to. You know, all these things are happening. You know, if it's a new path, if it's a new person, if it's a new soul group, a new place, a new job, whatever, it's a whole new cycle that's bringing in a lot of new things. And I think that the universe is kind of like tapping you on the shoulder a little bit like, hey, you know, they're doing it, you know, in quick ways. They're doing it in slow ways. They're doing light taps, like, but I think you might want to just get moving a little bit. But my roommate did start getting moving, and we ended up, you know, finding a new place, and we moved into a new place. And we still to this day talk about like how he was kind of like in denial to the fact that we had to move, and he kind of just didn't even want to process it because his mind was on something else. So this could just be you. You could just have your mind on other things, and you know that things are coming down the line, things are shifting all around you, but you're kind of like tunnel vision on whatever you're focused on. So the universe is kind of like, hey, I know you're focused on that. I know. But when these shifts happen, when these cycles change, there's nothing we can do about it. It's all inevitable, and a karmic cycle is ending and beginning for you. So you have to kind of like take heed to that and focus on that. All right. Okay, I'm done, Aquarius. So let me go on to your future energies. Coming into the end of December, you have the Moon card, you have the Knight of Pentacles, and you have the Four of Wands. So for the Moon card, this kind of represents you just not being clear on some things, or, you know, the Moon card could represent deception. It also represents us tapping into kind of like that inner intuitive nature. Energy around you to where everything is not clear, probably because so many things are being shaken up, so many things are changing. You have a shift occurring in your life, and I believe everybody is going through a shift right now, because I'm getting the Wheel of Fortune for a lot of people lately in a lot of different readings. But this could just be you having some lack of clarity when it comes to a certain situation. This could be why you're taking on that Emperor energy, because you don't see like the path of head clear enough. You don't have like enough information to be like, I want to go in that path, I want to go in that direction. And that makes sense, you know, because a lot of Aquarius that I know are very analytical, like they're thinkers. You guys are very logical. So if moving forward you don't see like the clear steps to move forward, then you won't move forward. Like you will have that Emperor energy, like, no, it doesn't seem clear enough to me. Nope, it doesn't logically make sense. No, it just doesn't add up. I have done the numbers and it doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna stay right here, and this could be that energy that you're having, just that moon energy is not clear enough, for you. Right below that, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is some type of offer coming in. Now, this offer could be from someone. It's a Knight, of Pentacles. That's the slowest moving Knight. So this could be a slow offer that's coming in, a slow opportunity that's coming your way. And it could just have to do with the new beginning that's kind of like happening. So this could just be something new coming in, being offered to you. That could have to do with this new cycle that you're kind of being showed your way into. Right below that, we have the Four of Wands. So this right here being right below the Knight of Pentacles, this could be somebody coming in to kind of like offer you some stability, offer you a connection, offer you marriage, offer you. This is the marriage card. The Four of Wands represents, a stable connection with somebody. That you're able to build with that person. You guys are not just together just to be together, but you can actually build on the foundation that you guys have. If this has to do with a relationship, if it's not that, then it could have to do with an offer that's coming in from, a job, a career path. Something could be being offered to you that's bringing you that stability, that could in the future bring you stability, that you can actually build on and become greater in. But it could be either one for you guys. It's a general reading, so it could be a person coming in, offering something that has to do with a long-term commitment, and it has to do also with that Wheel of Fortune, because this Knight is looking right over there at the Wheel of Fortune. So this is your new beginning coming in, and it's kind of like some type of offer is coming in connected to this new beginning, and I don't know. I don't know if you're still gonna have that stubborn energy by then. I don't know, Aquarius. But Four of Wands is right underneath that. So it's I think this offer is having to do with some type of offering love. Only because the Four of Wands is that marriage card. So somebody could be proposing to you. I don't know. And that's probably why you could have that Moon card, because it's kind of like, well, I'm not clear on this offer that's being made to me, so that's why I don't know if I should go in that direction or not. And I don't know. So it's general. It could have to do with anything, but that's just kind of what I picked up for some of you Aquarius. But yeah, that's what I feel for you guys. Sorry this reading was so long. It wasn't supposed to be this long, but I kind of got stuck in your present energies. You guys are having some type of changes happening all around you. So don't be so stubborn if you guys are being stubborn to change. I know a lot of people can be stubborn to change, but some changes are great for you, for sure. All right, Aquarius, that's all I'm going to do. If you like this reading, and if it made any sense to you, somebody do me a favor and leave a comment if it didn't make any sense and I just